So one of my favorite underdog stories of all time would have to be the UFC fight between Ronda Rousey and Holm, especially because Ronda Rousey was pretty much the darling of women's MMA at the time, and she was completely like unbeatable. No one could beat her, and no one expected this type of loss against Holm, which surprisingly has some like kickboxing experience. Um, but Rousey had been undefeated in her previous 12 matches, and I believe Holm was 9-0 at the time. But as you see here in this video, it's like, she could never get away from that straight right hand. And Ronda Rousey was more of like a submission fighter. She would get her opponents down to the ground, whereas Holm was more of a stand-up fighter and would knock out her opponents that way. And if you look at the build of Ronda Rousey, she's just so much bigger. There is like an age gap. At the time, Holm was older at 35 and Rousey was 28. So Ronda Rousey was pretty much in her prime. And if you look at the line on this game, or in this match, I should say, this was such a big underdog. It was minus 1,000. If you look at the UFC odds, it was minus 1,000 here, and we got Holm at plus 650 just before game time, just before the match started, and throughout the week it pretty much was dropping all the way. It went all the way down to about 850. So a lot of books opened their line at minus 1,400 for Ronda Rousey, and it dropped all the way down to 750 or 801. Some books had it at minus 900. So you bet $100 on Holm, and this would have paid you close to $700, 600 at some books. So this is how substantial Holm was as an underdog here. Okay, so I'm sure that a lot of people were taking Holm at the very end, because as you see with the money line odds on the match, it was dropping significantly later in the week. But this was just one of my favorite matches to watch, because Holm pretty much came out of nowhere and took the championship. And to me, her win is still considered one of the biggest upsets in UFC history. And this was a really fun matchup to watch when I saw it back in 2015. So let me know down below what your favorite match was, and what you think the best underdog story of all time is. And I'll be back with some more videos.
Times get lost, get stuck, get going. Get love, get mine, get